And wow, what a fake on Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Yo.
What up?
What is up, Senor Don Juan? How are you, brother?
Not much. We got a little Sixers basketball action. We're a little drunk on the court tonight.
Yes, sir.
Rich, before we jump into some stuff, I want to shout out our sponsors, right? We've got the La Terrain luxury watches, we've got Team Clicks, we've got Shocked Energy, and we've also got a new sponsor, Streaker Sports, the purveyor of vintage sports apparel, defunct leagues and teams. We got all sorts of some movie brands, some Mighty Ducks, some wiffle ball. They've got some really cool stuff. So when you if you go check out our LinkedIn, you'll see a link in there to get there. Use the code BROAD and you'll get 10% off. We'll get a little bit of kickback. But Rich, let's talk some Sixers action.
Let's talk Shocked Energy still not sending us samples, Don.
Ooh, hold on. Pause. They are sending us a t-shirt.
Ooh.
So I'm working on some samples. I'm working on it. Slow and steady, Rich. Slow and steady.
I can't drink a t-shirt for energy, Don.
You can't drink a t-shirt, Rich.
I can't drink a t-shirt.
You cannot.
Science. It's all science.
Shout out to Chris. Chris was
Chris, what's up, buddy?
Chris was down at the game for game 2. He was in the house. So shout out to Chris. Adam, what's up? What's going on?
Adam, what's up, buddy?
Rich, let's talk about the Sixers. We've got some positive news going on with the Sixers.
Yeah, man. Everybody's clicking. We haven't seen Furkan. Like, what's better than that?
Right?
Look at the lineups Doc's putting out. Like, it's looking good. I mean, this is what I expected to see from Doc in the playoffs.
Right.
Honestly, I want to see what happens in round 2. I don't like looking ahead, but this is what I pictured us doing to the Raptors. So I am not shocked by the energy. See what I did there? That the Sixers are bringing. The website's getting a lot of team clicks. I'm rolling with it.
And the jump shots are always on time.
They're always on time. I mean, you just got to watch. That's pretty much what I say. But no, I mean, they're doing what I think they're doing. What'd you say?
I say looking like some looking good in their vintage Spectrum t-shirts.
That would be nice.
There we go.
We're getting them all in, guys. We're getting them all in. But no, I mean, this is what I expected from this team. They are dominating, but it's great to see the different players step up, like Maxey step up in game 1, Joe step up in game 2. Tobias has been great, which is something that I like to see. Before we get into the negatives, Don, what do you think? What do you like seeing from this team?
I mean, the energy that Maxey brought obviously has been, to me, the difference in this series. Right. Aside, you knew you were going to get a different Embiid. You knew you were going to get a different Harden with them having the week off of rest.
Yeah.
But to me, the game-changing player so far in these first 2 games has got to be Maxey.
Yeah.
For him to be able to give you the energy that he's given to this team, right? He's the guy who's stopping runs. He's the guy who's getting out on breaks. He's the guy who's picking up, Fred VanVleet full court, and forcing them to use that clock, early on in the shot clock. A guy that we gave a lot of crap for during the year, Tobias Harris, has also had a couple of really good games.
He's looking fluid.
If you can get the production that you're getting out of those 2 guys, you're also getting a very motivated Joel Embiid.
Yep.
You're getting a guy in James Harden who, let's be honest, Rich, doesn't need to be Houston Rockets James Harden.
No.
Right? He is starting to understand what his role is. And his role, right, is to be the facilitator, is to penetrate and kick out, is to drive to the hole when he needs to. I love that what we're seeing now is very similar to what we saw in those first 5 games when they were really clicking on all cylinders right now. And for anybody that thought that there was anybody on this team, on the Raptors, that was going to be able to stop Embiid, I mean, you are fooling yourself if you think that there is, Siakam is not going to stop Embiid. Yep. I mean, I don't have to. We don't have to go through the.
Yeah, we don't have to explain this. Everybody's been watching it, and everybody knows.
Right, and to see,
yeah, you can't even think that Siakam's. See, they're just trying to. They're playing agitated because Nick Nurse wants to cry about the calls, so they're just playing agitated. You can see the frustration every game. It just boils over to the chirping, to like the stupid hard fouls, but they're part of the game, and that never bothers me. But the energy that the Raptors are lacking is showing tenfold, and the energy that the Sixers are presenting every night is intoxicating.
Yeah.
So they're basically being smothered and suffocated by that Sixers energy, and they don't have an answer for it. Let's be real. Is Fred VanVleet a good player? Yes. Is he able to pull the Raptors out of a hole? No. Siakam, no, he's not able to. So who else can step up, especially since the rookie got hurt? I mean, that's pretty much their biggest loss. But even with him, I don't see them losing by 20. I see them losing by 17. That's how I look at it. Because I just don't think there's anything that could shift this paradigm in the playoffs. So hopefully the Sixers come out tonight. They handle business in game 3, which we expected they do in Toronto, and we win one more. The Nets game gets pushed, and then we figure out who we play from here. Because who do we play from here? Because we're the 4, so we would be playing.
We're going to play the winner of the Heat and Hawks.
Oh, I like that because I don't think the Heat matches up well against the Sixers, and Atlanta definitely doesn't.
Right. So you look at who they if they end up getting matched up against the Heat, right? You're looking at Bam Adebayo, right? That's who's going to be guarding Embiid.
Yeah.
Right. So better than anybody on the Raptors, but not equivalent to Joel Embiid.
No, and that team doesn't scare me because Tyler Hero shooting from 3 is sketchy. Duncan Robinson, when he has a great night, he puts up 26. When he has a bad night, he puts up 0. I'm not really too afraid of the Heat, and I'm not afraid of Atlanta either. We'll have flashbacks of last year against Atlanta, but I still am not worried about it.
Atlanta doesn't seem to be putting up too much of a fight. I mean, they gave the Heat their best shot. The other night and it didn't even it barely made a bump, right? And I was gonna say the same thing about they pretty much held the Raptors wire to wire in game 1, right? And then in game 2, that first 6 minutes, you get Fred VanVleet that putting up shots where it wasn't even touching the rim. Had 4. I think he had 4 or 5 threes in the first quarter. You got their best shot in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And they were able to stave off that to the point where I think they were either even or maybe ahead, or it was close by the end of the first quarter. So
I think it was. I think they might have been tied or down 1. I forget at the end of the first. I don't think they were trailing. I think the Sixers were up 1 or tied. But then after that, it just broke open. I mean,
and then that's they hold them off. They get to that second quarter. They make a run in the second quarter, and then the gap just expands throughout the second and third quarter. Now, they did kind of fall asleep late in the third, early into the fourth, but at the end of the day, it really didn't matter because you got exactly what you wanted to get out of having those first 2 games at home, being able to take them convincingly. And Rich, the play that stuck out to me was the Embiid turnaround corner 3.
That was ridiculous.
right in front of the Raptors bench.
And they're like, Thad Young's face.
Thad Young and Fred VanVleet look like they couldn't, like they're like, oh fuck, like,
yeah. That's Joel Embiid. That's your MVP, which is insane if he does not win, because like you posted the stat that the guy put up that Jokic is a negative. Like Jokic is for a
negative 45.
Yeah, negative 45, and for a big guy, he bitches all the fucking time. So I was so happy to see him get tossed. It's like, dude, you are having an awful playoff series so far. You are not the most valuable player in the league. Like, I don't understand like what people are fascinated by this guy's game, because I think he is a great player, but he is nowhere near Joel Embiid. Like nowhere, like skill wise, anything. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
And I look at what, you know, how can you be the I'm going to put it in air quotes for everybody listening back, right? The leading vote getter for the MVP, and you're a negative 45 in a series that you're down 0-2, right? You can't be the MVP to me and not be able to carry your team when your team needs you. And mind you, Golden State is not playing with a full deck, right? Steph Curry is still playing limited minutes to the point where I think he put up like 30 something points in 22 minutes.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And like he's playing on a minutes restriction.
It's ridiculous.
Jordan Poole
is killing it.
Is killing it and playing great. Let's talk about some young guys in a minute, right? Jordan Poole, Anthony Edwards, right? Tyrese Maxey, those guys, those young, talented guys are really, really showing out.
How did Tyrese Maxey not win or be even in consideration for most improved player? That to me is astounding.
I don't know how you look at year one and look at year two and still have an argument for that guy not being the most improved player. To me, right, the same people that are the talking mouthpieces that are putting all the analytical, you know, Raptor stats, whatever bullshit they're putting out, like, how do you look at that player, watch that player play basketball, watch this guy, and not say he has improved more than anybody, right? The guy is shooting 40 plus percent from three.
Yeah.
Right. That's something
like 3%.
That's something that wasn't a really prevalent part of his game last year.
No.
And it's something that has and even in these two playoff games, right? Especially help them separate themselves from this Raptors team. Like there's nobody on this Raptors team that anybody is scared of.
No, and when they have to go to their bench is putrid. So
right, like when you're talking about their bench, you're talking about Chris Boucher, right? Ken Birch, Thad. What's left of Thad Young,
the artist formerly known as Thad Young, the basketball player formerly known as Thad Young. Yes, I remember him. I remember when he was good.
Rich, we got it. So Chris wants to know what you think of Embiid. What Embiid said to Nick Nurse.
I mean, we were thinking it. It's like, dude, every coach wants to come out and just complain about foul calls. Well, here's the thing. Be able to guard them or don't foul them. It's not that hard. Like, you can't – what happens when you can't guard a guy? 9 out of 10 times you foul him because you're either not quick laterally, or you just can't play defense on him.
Right.
So what happens? You get lazy, you reach, you slap, you give him a little too much body, you catch him on the arm, play lazy defense. Shit happens, right? That's how fouls occur. If you can't guard Joel Embiid and your only chance is to try to contain him, you foul him, which he still makes free throws. Right. That is not oh my God, the refs are out to get you and they get every call. It's like, no, he's just that good and absolutely able to to get these calls because they're legit fouls. Like,
Right.
stop bitching. What do you want them to do? Play football? Then okay. Then let them play football. Let them run into each other. Like, I don't know. Nick, I thought it was great. I just don't understand.
Yeah. Right.
Just don't foul them then. Don't give them the opportunity. Play defense.
Right.
What do you want me to say?
Play better defense. Or
play better defense.
You can't fault him for trying to score. And if while he's trying to score, you consistently foul the shit out of him.
Yeah,
It's
not his problem.
Rich, I'm going to quote one of my students that that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
it sounds like a personal problem.
Sucks for you. Like, then don't foul him. But then watch him put up 60. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh my God, he's really, really dominant. We have to help you out because your team isn't as good. You don't have a great player. And Rich, to rail on the analytic stats a little bit more, right? Fuck all the people that are out there talking about, well, if you took away all his foul shots, like
they're part of basketball,
part of
right?
the game.
Is that part of basketball?
Right. Like, you cannot just say, oh, well, Rich, sorry, but minus the 40-yard touchdown passes that your team has, like, you can't take an essential part of the game out of the player. But Joel Embiid, is not even the most fouled player in this playoff. Right? Giannis Antetokounmpo is taking more foul shots, but I don't hear anybody talking about Giannis and all the foul shots he gets. Like,
it just makes zero sense to me. If something is in a stat, if there is a stat for it, you cannot complain. Okay, so if Joel Embiid doesn't go to the foul line 13 times, then he most likely averages 40 because he's making half those shots he's getting hacked on. Right. So, pick your poison. He'll kill you with free throws and he'll kill you with terrible defense. So the only thing you have to do is foul him. Like, people bring up the dumbest stats, and that's honestly the shit that annoys me. Like, I'm going to just touch on a football thing because it's right now Deebo Samuel, right?
Right.
Wants to be traded. Some jerk off on the Philly radio decides to say Jimmy G was a good quarterback and he put up a bunch of yards. So here's Deebo's stat: 36 catches, right? He had 76 catches for X amount of yards this year. Cooper Kupp had 113.
Right.
How many more yards after the catch did Deebo have on 60 less on 60 less receptions than Cooper Kupp? I 790 yards after the catch. Jimmy G would dump it off. Deebo would run 50 yards or 90. Right. So you're trying to tell me this is all right. Here's the analytics, right? Here's the analytics that people are going to get mad about. Okay, I guess that does make Jimmy G a good quarterback, right? Because his high efficiency, he's got a lot of yards, right? So you take that away, he looks like shit. It's still part of the game, right? So your numbers may be inflated. Going back to Joel Embiid, it's still part of the game. Maybe it inflates his numbers, maybe, but you can't criticize it because it is in the game. It's not like it's a stat or it's something that's you get bonus points. This isn't fantasy. There's no bonus points being given to Joel Embiid. Oh yeah, we're going to round up. We're going to give him 2 clicks in the point. No, it's foul shots. Yeah. It is a part of the game.
Yeah, you don't get a bonus 5 points for every 10 foul shots you make. If you get fouled while you are trying to score, then you get to shoot from the free throw line. It ain't rocket science. Sorry, Raptors, ain't my fault that 6 minutes into the first quarter,
your center's got 3 fouls.
Your guys got and your team is in the penalty, and they're shooting free throws for the last 6 minutes of every quarter.
Yeah.
Be better. Be better on defense. If you're not better on defense, I'm sorry, but sucks for you.
And that's what I don't understand. It's because it's always I call it the Nick K book of excuses. So our boy Nick, he carries around this. It's a giant like Bible made out of Nick's hair. That it's a book of excuses. It might actually be made out of his own skin that he probably chose to make it, like the Devil's Book. So out of the Nick K book of excuses, we open it up and flip over a bunch of pages. You'll find our team sucks. Let's make up excuses why this team's better.
Right.
Not that our team is actually just better than yours. Because that's the case in this round. Like that's the case for this team, right? The case is the Raptors are not a good team. They're a good team. They are a good team. I'm sorry. But they're not better. And they don't match the intensity or the level of skill players that the Sixers have.
No, not at all.
That's not a shot at the organization and whatever. They're doing what they could with the team that made the playoffs.
Right.
But sometimes you run into that. Don't try to make shit up saying, oh, well, this is why this is BS because of this stat. It's like, well, your team's committing the fouls. Be mad at your team. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Like
it's not rocket science.
No, it's not. It's not. And
analytics suck anyway. So just go for the eye test, and the eye test will show you that the Sixers are a better team.
Right. And I think the strategy from Doc Rivers early on in the year, left us kind of wondering what's this playoff rotation going to look like? What are we going to be? What are we going to see? Seeing the frustration late in the season when the rotations were not what we thought they could be to get ready for the playoffs. Now seeing them in these first two games, I think them knowing that Thibault wasn't going to be able to play in Toronto, kind of reducing his role. He's in the games he's playing 10 minutes a game. Danny Green looks like the best version of Danny Green we've seen.
So Thibault cannot play in Toronto, right?
He can't. So he's not going to play game 3, 4, or 6 if it goes 6.
Yeah, because I guess he's not vaccinated.
So he's not fully vaccinated. He has the first shot, but didn't get the second shot.
That's weird. That's just
when he was interviewed, listen, your medical decisions.
Yes,
decisions.
I mean, if I'm getting it, I'm going to go all out. Stop at one.
Rich and I are not here doctors purveying.
No, and I don't care what you do. It's your life. Right? I just find it odd.
To me, when he got on and he's talking about the fact that he and his family grew up with a very homeopathic medicine, whatever. And
okay.
So the hard, the weird part for me is all right, pick a side, right? But you kind of pick the middle. And I don't understand why.
I just don't understand why you just get the first. I can understand, I'm not getting the booster. It's okay, that's fine. But you only got the first one. I'm like, why'd you put yourself through it?
Right. So you got 47%.
You have 26% of the variants that came before these two.
Right.
Don't worry about it. You're not going to get them.
Yeah. So, but seeing them kind of prepare for that, kind of in advance, and seeing them still be able to be successful. I think you're going to see more minutes out of Niang tonight. I think you're going to see more minutes out of Shake Milton, Paul Reed.
Which is, I enjoy seeing Paul Reed play over DeAndre Jordan. So,
yeah, listen, Rich, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. The fact that, when Big T Will was on with us, we talked about the fact that the production that you're getting, that you're going to get out of Paul Reed right now as a young athletic big is going to be more than Statue of Liberty DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
Right. Because he couldn't guard a fence post if you let him. And he can barely jump. His vertical is now, the equivalent of a piece of paper. So, what you're getting out of Paul Reed is younger athletic production, and it's a smaller lineup from the Raptors. So you don't have to worry about losing that lack of production or him getting dominated out of, from a big man.
Yeah.
And that will follow through in that next series. If they get matched up with the Heat don't have anybody huge coming off their bench.
No.
So, for me, right, the 10 minutes that you're getting out of Paul Reed, great.
Yeah.
I don't need to see anybody else, right? I can see those 8 guys.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Please, God, please, Rich, please say a prayer. We don't need to see the Turkish rifle.
Yeah, ever.
I don't need to see him on offense
No.
building houses for small children or on defense pretending to be the guy taking tickets at the movie theater.
Oh, the turnstile.
Yeah, like I don't need that at all. What I'm getting from Niang, if I can get a little bit, obviously you're going to see an uptick in minutes from those guys because you're going to see them on the floor more with Fable being out. Rich, if you had to pick a guy that's going to have a bust out game tonight,
I think it's going to be James Harden. I think it's going to be Harden.
Night?
I need to see Harden drop a nice 30 burger, and I'll be extremely happy. But if it's not going to be him, it's going to be Tobias. I just have a feeling it's going to be those two. I think Joe is going to have his, but a bust out game, I could see Harden getting 31, 10, and 8.
Okay.
So that's what I need. It'll ease my soul. It'll ease my soul to see him score and come out shooting hot, because it's not the fact that he doesn't have to. It's the fact he's starting out really slow. And I want to see him catch fire. I want to see him go 5 for 5 or even 3 for 3. Like, I just want to see him come out and just knock down some shots early, get his confidence up, and we just play ahead all game.
I like it.
What about you, Don? Who do you think you're expecting a big game from?
All day, I'm looking at the energy that Embiid brought in game 2. And I feel like part of him being out in the middle of that game with Thibault running into his elbow and him falling on the floor and them having the hard fouls.
Yeah.
To me, I'm looking at that and I'm going, is this like a throw your nuts on the table kind of game for him? Like, to go up to Toronto, the last time, they played a playoff game in Toronto, you had the quadruple doink where he's laying it all on the table. To me, I'm looking at Embiid and I'm saying, put this series away. Like take their heart, rip it out, shut them up, and really just kind of, put this team away the way that it needs to be put away.
I agree.
And don't even let them, to me, I'm looking at them to try to have them come out early. And the more that they can jump on top of the Raptors early, I think that takes their fans out of it. That lets them know that, we're not messing around. We're done. We're done with you, right? Our eyes are on a different prize. I
like it. Let's go Sixers.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich, anything around the NBA? Any other team, game, anything that's kind of caught your eye?
No, I mean, I'm watching a little bit of the Nets game out of the corner of my eye. But fuck the Nets. I really can't stand them.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That was a great game.
It was a great. Oh yeah, that
was a great game.
I loved KD standing still as Jason Tatum is coming right behind him, because KD is an elite defender. So it just makes me happy. But no, not really. Don't really care about anything else besides the Sixers, to be honest with you. That's all I'm locked in on. I won't even I'm watching this because the game comes on at 8. If not, I just don't care. It's Sixers or nothing. It's the same. It's how I am with every playoffs except football. There's football. I'm okay. I just don't expect that much from the Eagles, and I'm let down. So I'm whatever. But baseball, I'm terrible with that. If it's not the Phillies, I'll watch games in the background, but when it comes to the playoffs, I don't care. I haven't watched the World Series probably since the Phillies were in the World Series, because to me, I have no I don't have any investment in another NL team or an AL team unless it's the Twins. I don't care about the Yankees. I don't care about it. I don't ever want to watch it, because to me it's just oh great. I'm giving views on my television to two teams I don't care about. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's Philly or die for me when it comes to
listen,
Philly or die.
The teams in this city get number one priority. I think the thing for me around the league a little bit is seeing the young talent, right? We kind of touched on it. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but seeing guys like Jordan Poole, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker before he gets in, before he, muffs up his hamstring the other night, probably could have dropped 60 if he played the whole game.
Yep.
seeing the young talent that's on display. And listen, Tyrese Maxey put himself right in that conversation. So
yes, he did.
I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the young talent and seeing like, okay, you can start to see the guys that are able to, even a guy like John Morant, right? There are guys that are, the next generation of high level talent for this league. So,
yep.
No, that's I'm excited. Rich, anything else we're gonna do? Just pop in and out for this. You want to touch on anything before we head out?
No, I'm good. Final score for tonight's game: 129-106 Sixers.
Ooh, I like it.
What do you got down? What's your final score?
Final score. Listen, I'm gonna go. 115-97.
I like it.
I'm gonna go. They don't get triple digits. I
like it.
Fuck them. Fuck Toronto.
Fuck Toronto. Fuck the Nets. Fuck Spike Eskin. We are drunk on broad.
Listen, Rich, before we get out of here, next week with the NFL draft, we have the opportunity to be on with the guys from Fired Up on the Belly Up draft coverage.
Ooh.
We are going to be on to cover picks 16 through 20.
Ooh.
So the four of us will be on there. It'll be right post, the Eagles pick at 15.
I like it.
We'll be on to break down the pick at 15, and then go through pick 20, which will also cover pick 18 for the Eagles too. So
let's do it.
We'll be on there. Just excited to be able to take a look at some of that draft talent that's coming out. So again, shout out to our sponsors, Shocked, Team Clicks, La Terrain, and our new sponsor, Streaker Sports.
Streaker.
Check them all out in our link tree in the bio. Rich, and then there's another, just I guess final thought. One of our, I don't know if it's like a co-show, one of the other shows on Belly Up, the guy Nick Rodriguez is doing something by selling some merch to promote mental health.
Oh, very cool.
So if you get a chance, go check out one of our Belly Up. I guess he's a co-worker of ours. And check out his merch for mental health, and a percentage of what he's selling from the t-shirt goes to support mental health. So go check that out, and go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Fuck everybody else.
Peace out, Philly.